Good morning. This is Priyanka from CS Priyanka's Professional Classes. Today I am going to take class on the topic buyback from Companies Act 2013. Now it should be clear to you that buyback as per Companies Act 2013 is different and buyback as per SEBI is different. So today my class will be on buyback as per Companies Act 2013 and afterwards I will upload the video on the topic buyback as per SEBI. So let's start. So today my topic is buyback, and this buyback I am going to explain as per Companies Act 2013. Now you have to remember that usually the company, whatever company wants to do, it must be authorized by its article. Article means article of association. Okay, there are two incorporation documents, that is, one is AOA, Article of Association, and other one is MOA, Memorandum of Association. Now you have to remember that whatever company will do, it must be there in the article, then only they can do it. Okay, if it is not there in the article, then first you have to amend the article by passing resolution, special resolution, and you can proceed with the buyback or any other thing also, or any other topic also, or any other item also. You can do so only if it is authorized by the article. So that's why for doing buyback also, whenever company wants to do buyback, first I would like to explain what do you mean by this buyback. That means company wants to buy back its shares, okay, its shares from its shareholders. So buyback, that means buying back of shares. What type of shares? Equity. What type of shares? Equity share. So buyback can be done only on equity share capital. Okay, so buyback can be done only on fully paid equity share capital. If any equity share capital is partly paid, okay, it's not fully paid, then buyback is not possible. First it should be from partly paid to fully paid, then you can do buyback on such fully paid equity share capital. So first of all you have to remember this clause, that company wants to buy back its shares from its shareholders, and what type of shares? It's equity shares. And secondly, buyback is possible or allowed only on equity share capital. Equity share capital, and obviously it should be fully paid up. So partly paid up equity share capital, if it's there, buyback is not possible on such share capital. It should be first you have to from part to it should be full, then you can do buyback on such share capital. So first you have to remember this, what is buyback. Second is you can do it only on equity share capital which is fully paid up. Third is you have to remember article must be authorized, or it must be authorized by article. Authorized by its article. What does this article means? Article of association of the company. Okay, so the buyback clause should be there in the article. That means means the company's article should have access of doing buyback, then only you can do so. You have to remember these things. Now think, for example, if article is silent, then first amend such article by passing SR in GM, SR and GM, then do so. Okay, so this you have to remember before starting buyback, whether your company can do buyback or not. Okay, so it's actually, I'm talking about like nowadays, so if you are forming your new company, now article is like almost everything will be there. Okay, so everything will be there. So now I'm talking about those who have incorporated before and have not till now taken the new article or have not done the new article. Then for them, what happened? For doing such thing, they have to check once their article. If it is silent, their article is silent relating to such matter, then they first needs to amend, change or amend the article by passing special resolution at general meeting. Then they can easily do such work. Clear? So, first of all, this point needs to be clear to you. One is buyback means you are buying back shares from the shareholders. This share is a equity share capital and that should be fully paid up. Second is your article, company's article should authorize that the company can do buyback. If article is silent, then you can pass special resolution and general meeting and can proceed further. Next, this buyback is coming under section 68 of Companies Act 2013. 68. Now, whenever company will decide that company will do buyback, first of all they need to fix a percentage. How much percentage they will do the buyback in one time. Now, first important point after fixation of percentage, whatever percentage they will fix, I'm coming later about this percentage details. This percentage will be given on the total paid up capital of the company plus free reserve. So, company's total paid up share capital plus free reserve, whatever amount is coming on that, this percentage will be given for buyback. So, buyback is always, that buyback percentage is always given on this thing, that is paid up share capital plus free reserve. You have to remember. Now come to percentage. How much percentage can be fixed for doing buyback? As per Act, they can do maximum 25%. Up to 25% they can do buyback. Maximum. Now Act says, now I hope if you have done the video classes of mine from the YouTube about the resolution, relating to the resolution the things, that is what is ordinary resolution, what is special resolution, when those resolution need to be passed. So I hope this will also be clear to you. So see, as per Act, if company fix the percentage of buyback 10% or less, then board resolution at board meeting, board resolution at board meeting needs to be passed for doing such buyback. No need to take permission from the shareholders in the general meeting because you are doing the buyback less than 10%. But as per Act, if you decide to do the buyback more than 10%, okay, 10% or more, but up to 25%, then mandatorily you need to pass special resolution at general meeting. Passing special resolution means you have to take the permission from the shareholders for doing buyback in the company. So this also you have to, it needs to be clear. Like whenever we will decide that our company will do buyback, first of all we need to fix the percentage. What amount we are going to give the percentage? Percentage will be given on the total paid up share capital plus free reserve. Okay. So you have to remember this thing. On this only the percentage needs to be given. Now the question comes, how much percentage can we fix as per Companies Act? So Act says, if you can fix it. If you fix it less than 10% or less, then no need to take permission from shareholders in the general meeting. Only pass board resolution at board meeting. That means board of directors will pass their resolution. They will decide whether they will do the board meeting means buyback or not. They can proceed. But if company decides that they will do the buyback 10% or more, that means more than 10%, but maximum 25%, because you cannot do more than 25%. Okay, so in such cases, shareholders permission is mandatory. In such cases, you have to pass special resolution at general meeting. Next, the ratio. You have to remember the ratio also, because this class is especially for CMA Inter. So for them you may get some of the multiple choice also from this chapter, because total 30 marks multiple choice will come. So there also you may get, and also brief question, its possibility you may get the question. So that's why these are important for you. Small things, small resolution, what types of resolution, the ratios, percentage, these things are very important for you people. Now next point, the ratio of the aggregate of the secured and unsecured debt owed by the company after buyback will be in the ratio 2:1. This ratio also need to be done, like they are telling the ratio of the aggregate of the secured and unsecured debt. Secured debt and unsecured debt means you have taken loan from secured creditor, those debt are secured debt, for example like bank and all. And unsecured debt means you have taken from any individual or any unregistered institution like that. So those are unsecured debt. You have taken loan, those type of debts are unsecured. If company do such things after buyback, the ratio will be, means the ratio where whatever you will take that from secured or unsecured, the ratio needs to be maintained 2:1. In the ratio 2:1 it needs to be maintained. So aggregate of the secured and unsecured debt, whatever they will owed by the company after buyback, this ratio will be this. Now next is, if the company, the company who is doing buyback actually, if such company is a listed company, that means if any listed company is doing buyback, then in such cases for them they needs to follow the rules and regulation of SEBI while doing buyback. Okay, so listed company, for listed companies they need to follow rules and regulation of SEBI, not Companies Act 2013 buyback, which we are discussing, that is section 68 of Companies Act. So for listed company they will follow rules and regulation of SEBI. For unlisted company, any type of private company or unlisted public company, in such cases they are going to follow section 68 of Companies Act 2013, the provisions of buyback. Next, no offer of buyback shall be made within 1 year from the date of closure of offer of last buyback. Now, Normally what happen whenever company will do buyback, how they will intimate the shareholders, they will issue letter of offer. That means company is offering to the existing shareholders that company wants to buy back their shares. Now their permission is required. Now whether shareholders wants or not, they wants to give back the shares to the company or not. So that's why on the basis of the offer letter, company needs to obtain the acceptance or rejection letter also from the shareholders. If shareholders accepts the offer, then only company can do buyback. Now the question is that here the point is telling that whenever company is issuing offer letter, for example, whatever company will do, whenever company will decide that company will do buyback, company is going to issue letter of offer. Okay, so letter of offer. To whom this letter of offer will be given? To the existing shareholders from whom the company wants to take the shares back. Okay, get back the shares, take the shares back from those existing shareholders. All the shareholders should get this offer. Now, these existing shareholders either they will accept or they will reject. Clear? Now, this letter of offer date, for example, company is issuing this letter of offer on 1st April. Okay, so from this of buyback shall be within 1 year from the date of closure. Now, always whenever company is going to issue letter of offer, there will be some period that offer will be open. So it will be written like offer is open for 2 months, offer is open for 30 days. So you just take example that offer is open for 30 days. Think, just example, 30 days. Now think, the act is telling that last day 30 days, on the expiry of the 30th day, okay, within 1 year, company cannot made any type of, shall be made within means cannot made any offer of buyback. Got it? This point. What does this point means? For example, company whenever decided that they will do buyback, they are going to issue letter of offer. This letter of offer is nothing but offer letter. It will be given to the existing shareholders who are actually holding the company shares, from whom the company wants to take back the shares. Now, existing shareholders either accept or reject. Okay, within the time period, whatever company will say that offer is open for this period. It may be 1 month, it may be 2 months, it may be 3 months or 4 months, whatever it is. I have taken one example. Okay, just take that offer is open for 30 days. Okay, so first day, 1st April to 30th April, offer is open. So on the expiry of 30th day, that means after the 30th April, within 1 year, as per Act, same company cannot make any offer on buyback. This is restriction is there as per Act. Clear? Now, I said that whenever company will give 10% or less of buyback, on such time no need to take permission from the shareholders. So it is enough if board of directors of such company approves, okay, through board resolution. Now whenever company decides to declare buyback percentage 10% or more, but up to 25%, in such situation, that is if company is declaring buyback percentage 10% or more, but up to 25%, in such cases, it is required for the company to pass special resolution at general meeting. Now, I hope you know that whenever company, there are two type of resolution obviously. I am not going in depth about the resolution. So whenever a company is passing ordinary resolution, I would like to say no need to give any reasoning or explanation. Okay, so explanatory statement. That means where you have to explain the matter. Such things need to be affixed along with the ordinary resolution. But when a company will will pass special resolution, it is mandatory that explanatory statement needs to be attached along with the special resolution. What do you mean by explanatory statement? For example, company wants to do buyback. For this, you are preparing one special resolution. Now, explanatory statement, you have to write in detail why company wants to buy back its shares, what percentage, okay, how much shares, how much amount, how much amount will be invested, every little means minor, and all the details and particulars of such item, relating to such item, needs to be inserted in the explanatory statement. That's why you have to remember two things. If you are passing ordinary resolution, explanatory statement is not required to be attached with that. But if you are passing special resolution, it is mandatory for you people to attach special explanatory statement there. Now see, whenever company is doing buyback and whenever they are declaring 10% or less, in such situation, what happened? No question is coming for explanatory statement because we are not passing special resolution. But whenever company is declaring 10% or more, but maximum up to 25%, in such case, it is mandatory for the company to pass special resolution at general meeting. So I already said wherever there is special resolution, you have to remember two things. Okay, this is not only for buyback, for every chapter. One is explanatory statement needs to be attached. And second thing, wherever you are passing special resolution, you have to file MGT 14 with ROC. So now, this is a separate thing. So this is not going like wherever you are filing or wherever you are passing special resolution, it is mandatorily you need to intimate to ROC via form number MGT 14. Now comes to under the explanatory statement. What will come under the explanatory statement of buyback, special resolution of buyback? Point number A, under explanatory statement, what needs to be inserted or what you will include in the explanatory statement? First of all, the necessity of buyback. That means why the company wants to do buyback. Next, number of shares intended to be purchased under buyback. C, amount to be invested under buyback. That means what happened? Whenever company is buying the shares back, company needs to invest. Company has to pay the money to those shareholders, so that amount to be invested under buyback. And last, the time limit of completion of buyback. That means how much time the company needs to complete the full buyback process or procedure. So these are the points, 4 points. It needs to be include under explanatory statement which is going to attach along with special resolution of buyback. Now I am going to explain some of the compliances for buyback. Whenever company will do buyback, they need to comply certain things, like they need to intimate about this buyback steps to ROC in different forms. So those things I would like to explain. For example, I said that whenever company will do buyback, first and important thing is company will issue letter of offer. This is the first step. What they will do? They will intimate up to the existing shareholders that how much shares they wants to buy back, how much amount they will invest, whether the existing shareholders are interested or not on this offer. So these things they should intimate to the existing shareholders through this offer letter. Now whether they can do buyback or not, the actual buyback or not, this depends on the acceptance and rejection letter of the existing shareholders. But that is a later thing. But first of all, whenever company will decide and fix the percentage, how much percentage they will do the buyback, first and foremost thing, they will issue LOO, that is letter of offer. Now whenever the company is preparing letter of offer, I said before also in my previous classes also, that for a company, every steps what company will do, whether they will appoint director or not, whether they will appoint KMP or not, what they are doing during charge, buyback, other whatever they wants to do, everything needs to be intimated to ROC in forms. Because I said ki nowadays everything is digital. You can go to the website www.mca.gov.in. There it is there to download the forms. Lot of forms are there. You can download it. You can fill the form online and you can pay it by paying net banking and other from wallet also. So in such way we submit, and in sometimes also we are getting the certificates online from the MCA side. If you have to open your own account there, so on behalf of the company. And when we are going to search for that company, you have to give the SIN number there. So now come to the letter of offer. Whenever company will issue letter of offer, they will also intimate to ROC about this letter of offer. In which form? In form SH8 along with fee. Okay. So first of all, company will issue letter of offer and they will intimate to ROC in the form SH8 along with fee. Next step. Now, letter of offer they prepared, they intimated to ROC. Now, this letter of offer they needs to dispatch to the existing shareholders. They needs to send to existing shareholders. So, point number 2 is, I am writing LOO. This letter of offer needs to be dispatched to all the shareholders of the company. Here you have to remember the numbers, that is not later than 20 days from the date of filing. What filing? SH8. That means I am a company, I prepared LOO, that is letter of offer. Immediately I inform to ROC in form number SH8. Now whenever I inform to ROC, from that date, that means the date I filed with ROC, from that date itself, within 20 days, I needs to dispatch to all shareholders of the company this LOO, that is letter of offer. Okay, it should reach there within 20 days and I needs to dispatch to them within 20 days time. So you have to remember this blue color pen, whatever I am writing with blue color pens, you have to remember these things. Other two you can write of your own. First of all, the filing of letter of offer will be done in SH8 along with fee. After that, from that date of filing, the date you filed, not the date you prepared a letter of offer. These are the things you have to understand. The date you have filed with ROC this SH8, from that date onwards, within 20 days, it needs to be dispatched to all the shareholders of the company. Next, such letter of offer, LOO, I said now offer will be open for minimum some period. So the company will decide how much period they will give, for how many days the offer is open. Okay, and how many days the existing shareholders will get time to reply whether they are accepting or rejecting the such thing. So letter of offer will open, as per act they have given the time period, time limit, that is first of all not less than 15 days, . . 15 days, 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 Okay, not exceeding 30 days. So what does this mean? Minimum 15 days so it should be open. I cannot, means company cannot reduce the dates below 15. That means once the company is issuing letter of offer or offer letter, minimum 15 days it should be open, and it is open actually as per Act, minimum 15 days. And it should not, the period should not exceed 30 days. So maximum 30 days it is open. So minimum 15 days, maximum 30 days, the letter should be open as per Act. Now, next thing you have to next step. Now already it is dispatched within 20 days. Okay, the letter of offer is open, that is minimum 50 and 30 days. Now obviously the company is waiting for the reply, whether just accept it or reject it. Okay, so they are accepting the reply from the shareholders. Now, acceptance or rejection letter is required from shareholders within 21 days from the date of closure of offer. Now tell me, what will be the date of closure of offer? It will be open, it is open minimum 15, maximum 30 days. Okay, so on the expiry of 30 days, got it? For example, think my offer, for example, opened 1st April. So obviously till 15th it is open. Now it should not exceed 30th April. Okay, my countdown will start from the 1st May on the closure of the date of offer. My offer is closing on 30th and am I waiting for this 21 days. Within 21 days the date will start from 1st May. Okay, so the thing will be like this, ki on the expiry of the 30th day, within 21 days, acceptance or rejection letter needs to be obtained by the company as per Act time limit. Because whenever I will issue letter of offer, company will issue letter of offer. Along with that, they will write clearly. They will write that this letter needs to be accepted or rejected within this time period. Okay, so the existing shareholders also needs to give reply. Either it is acceptance or rejection letter, whatever it is, but it should be given within 21 days from the date of closure of offer. Next, whatever company will do, whether it is charge or buyback or whatever they wants to do, they needs to open a separate bank account for that purpose. They will open a separate bank account for that purpose. They will do that thing, that means they needs to open a separate bank account for buyback. That account will be open only for the purpose of buyback. What they will do? They will take back the shares from the existing shareholders. They will invest the money to that bank account. From that bank account, it is going to be credited to the shareholders bank account. Whenever the bank account balance will become zero, they will close their bank account. So this way it happens, not only for buyback, for dividend, for paying payment of dividend. In such cases also it happens like that. In case of CSR, whatever other item, other top things will be done through a separate bank account. Okay, so here also as per Act it is said, whenever these things are going on, whenever company is going to receive or company will obtain the acceptance and rejection letter from the existing shareholders, then they needs to open a separate bank account. Next point, right? Company shall immediately required to open a separate bank account. For what purpose? For depositing the entire sum for the shares tendered for buyback. That means why they needs to open a separate bank account, because they will take back the shares from the existing shareholders, and obviously company needs to pay them for the shares. So whatever amount they will pay, they will do the investment in this separate bank account. So whatever amount will go to the shareholders bank account, personal account, that will be going from this buyback separate account opened by the company during this period. Next is very important. Every buyback shall be completed every buyback shall be completed within a period of 1 year from the date of passing ASR, that is special resolution. Okay, so just remember, when we pass special resolution to do buyback, okay, so the date I pass special resolution for doing buyback, from that date, okay, we have to finish such buyback process or procedure within 1 year. So total 1 year I am getting time from the date of passing resolution. I have to complete buyback as per this act, otherwise I needs to pay the penalty amount or I will be punished. So I mean the company will be punished. So buyback shall be completed within a period of 1 year from the date of passing special resolution at general meeting. Next thing under buyback, there are 3 sources of buyback. There are 3 sources of buyback. Source means what? Means from where you can buy back your shares. From where you can buy back your shares. That is sources of buyback. So what are those 3 sources from where you can buy back your shares? First of all, though, obviously we were discussing about existing shareholders on a proportionate basis. Second is from open market. This is I'm talking for listed company, those who trade in open market. From there also you can do so. In such cases we don't follow this act, we follow the SEBI rules and regulation. And third is in case of ESOP or sweat equity. ESOP sweat equity is like that ki whenever company is giving shares at a discount rate to their own employees as a reward. They are performing so good, they're sweating while and working and giving good performance for the company. So company is issuing shares at a discounted rate to them as a reward, so as if they are giving reward. So in the form of reward they are giving shares. So from them employees also they can do the buyback. So these are the 3 sources of buyback. One can be taken from existing shareholders on a proportionate basis. Second is if there's a listed company, then usually they trade in the open market, so they can take back from the open market. And third one is ESOP or sweat equity. So whenever they're giving to their employees as a reward, okay, to the shares at a discounted rate. So these also can be the sources. Now, next important point, that whenever company have decided that they will do buyback and they have already filed letter of offer with the ROC, Registrar of Companies. Next, whenever whether they can do actual buyback or not, actual buyback in the sense whether they will take back the shares and they will do the investment. So the point is investment, whether they are eligible to pay or not, whether they are insolvent or not, that proofs they needs to be given. Means that proofs needs to be given to the ROC by the company. That's yes, I am solvent. I am declaring that I am solvent enough to pay to the existing shareholders exchange of shares. That's why I want to do buyback of shares from them. So in such situation, what happened? Do remember that letter of offer we have filed to ROC in SH8. Right? Now the question is coming that whether company needs to make the investment to the existing shareholders a proper amount, a large amount, whether until and unless they are solvent enough to pay the amount to the existing shareholders, ROC or authority is not going to give the permission that you can do so. So that's the way, that's the reason after LOO, company needs to file declaration of solvency. What does this means? That they have to declare that yes, this is the proof I am solvent, I am not insolvent. Insolvent means unable to pay debt. So they have to give proof that obvious they are having money and they are able to pay the debt. Okay, they are able enough to pay the debt amount. So this declaration they need to file with ROC in form SH9. Okay, so declaration of solvency is SH9, a letter of offer is SH8, and this SH9 needs to be signed by two directors. Okay, out of two directors, one must be managing director, MD. Clear? So second step is whenever you are whenever you are filing letter of offer with ROC, that is in the form SH8, after that you have to give proof that you are solvent enough. So for that you have to give the declaration. We called it declaration of solvency. That needs to be filed with ROC in the form SH9, and such form needs to be signed by two directors, and out of two directors one must be MD, that is managing director. Along with this, I would like to explain one thing, that is whenever company will complete its buyback, okay, whenever company will do its buyback or when a company has done, okay, its buyback process has been done by the company, after that what they will do, they have to do one thing, that is they need to destroy the physical certificates. Certificates means physical share certificates within 7 days from the last date of completion of buyback. Got it? Why I am telling you? These physical certificates means share certificates. Think whenever company issued shares to the existing shareholders, obviously company has issued share certificate also, right? So company is, whenever think about the formation incorporation, that is company issued share to the existing shareholders. So whenever company is issuing 500 shares or 1000 shares to the shareholders, obviously same time company is issuing share certificate against those shares to the existing shareholders. Now what happened? Company is buying back those shares from the existing shareholders. What the use of that existing share certificate? So what happened? What now? Now what happened? Company get back its shares. Company got its shares back from the existing shareholders, and those existing shareholders are now no more shareholders of such company because they are not holding any shares of such company. All shares are now with the company only. So no need to keep those share certificates, right? So what happened? As per Act says, whenever you are done with the buyback, whenever the company will buy back its shares, all the shares from the existing shareholders or from those shareholders, after completion or from the last date of completion of buyback, the date when the buyback has done or completed, from that date onwards, within 7 days, company needs to physically destroy. Physically destroy means have to tear and to throw it out. Have to physically destroy such share certificates within 7 days. 7 days they have to do. If they fail to do so, they are non-compliant. They may be penalized for such thing. So they have to destroy the physical certificates within 7 days from the last date of completion of buyback. That is the date when your buyback is done, or the last date when you have means your last date of completion of buyback. It's your last date that your buyback will be done from means on today. From that means from tomorrow onwards, within 7 days you have to comply with this. Now next thing is fresh issue. Okay, fresh issue of shares by the company is actually not allowed within 6 months. From the date of completion of buyback. So what happened? From the date of completion of buyback, the company are not allowed to do the fresh issue for raising capital. But yes, some of the exceptions are there. You have to remember. What are those exceptions? What you can do actually? Fresh issue is not allowed, but exceptions means you can do such things, that is, except like bonus share, issuing bonus share, conversion of warrants, stock option schemes, sweat equity, or conversion of preference share or debenture into equity. These are exceptions. Your company can do so. Company after completion of buyback or from the date of completion of buyback, company is not allowed to do the fresh issue of shares. Fresh issue in the sense equity share capital. They cannot issue fresh shares, but they can issue bonus share, or they can convert the warrants or stock option scheme, like those ESOP, employee stock option scheme, whether they wants to give in the form of reward any shares to the employees. Okay. So for that they can do so, or if they wants to convert preference share or debenture into equity share, that also they can do. Next is, we knew that there are many registers of the company. Like whatever company do, they need to maintain the register, not registrar. Register means a book where we do the entry of the thing. So for buyback also, company needs to maintain the register. We called it register of buyback. There they need to do the entry. They need to write it, the date of buyback, the date of who actually from whom the company bought back the shares, when, the dates, completion date of buyback. Every details needs to be there in the buyback register. So company shall maintain a register of buyback, and this register will be in the form SH10. So friends, do you remember SH8 is that form for which we file to the ROC for filing LOO, that is letter of offer. SH9 we file for the declaration of solvency, and SH10 whenever we are maintaining register of buyback, that register format should be in the form SH10. Next is we need to file the return of buyback. Finally, we need to file the return of buyback to ROC. Okay, after completion of buyback. So this return of buyback will file in the form actually SH15. This is actually the return of buyback needs to be filed with ROC along with the form SH15. Now return is in SH11. Now see, SH15 is not a form actually. This is a certificate which you need to, there is a format in the website, you have to print it out, you have to write physically, and you have to scan and attach, and that certificate will be in the form 15. And that this 15 you need to attach along with the main form, that is SH8, and SH8 actually return form. SH11 actually the return of buyback form which you need to file with ROC, okay, along with a certificate that is in the format SH15. Clear? So I will make you clear once again. So after register will be maintained in form SH, in the form SH10. After that, for return of buyback, you have to file the return with ROC in form SH11 along with fee. This is actually the main form, and along with this you need to annex SH15, which is not a form, this is a certificate. Clear? This return we need to file with ROC, and in case if your company is a listed, obviously I said if your company is a listed company, in such cases you have to follow the rules and regulation of SEBI, and also there also you have to file the same with ROC and SEBI both. For listed company, they will file those forms with ROC as well as SEBI both. Got it? And this must be signed by 2 directors. Out of 2, 1 must be MD, Managing Director. Clear? Next, whatever provision we discussed till now, if you have to follow this procedure while you are doing buyback for any unlisted company, it may be private or public, okay, but it's not listed. If it's listed, then we have to follow other rules and regulation of SEBI for buyback, and also amendment rules came for SEBI and buyback. Now we are talking about section 68 of Companies Act 2013. Now if you don't follow the rules and regulation whatever we discussed till now, that means in legal words or in legal language we can say if you contravenes the provision of such act, then obviously punishment will be there. What will be the punishment? We'll talk about the punishment. Fine is there for the company minimum 1 lakh, maximum 3 lakh. And the person who is in default, we called it individual in default. For him, imprisonment maximum 3 years. Imprisonment means jail. And for him, the fine is also same, like minimum 1 lakh, maximum 3 lakh, or both, depends on the crime. Clear? This is a punishment. And last topic from buyback I would like to discuss, that next point and write, no company shall directly or indirectly purchase its own shares or specified securities through number A, subsidiary company, investment company, and if any default is made by the company, example, payment of dividend, interest, all these things. So the thing is, company means, for example, the company who wants to do buyback, such company cannot directly or indirectly purchase his own shares on specified securities through these things. Got it? That means holding company cannot buy back through a subsidiary, okay, from other company. So indirectly the shares are with some other company. For example, think I am a holding company, I am a holding company means subsidiary company. For example, think I have taken the subsidiary company shares. I have purchased the subsidiary company shares. That's why subsidiary company is my subsidiary, though the percentage is 50 or more. Now that shares I have given to someone else. Got it? So I cannot do through that, means indirectly I cannot, through investment company or subsidiary company, I cannot buy back my own shares. For example, subsidiary company is holding my share, or some company is holding my shares, and they have such shares they have given to some other person. Now if I want to do buyback, I can do directly, means from that company I can do, but I cannot do directly or indirectly through subsidiary company. I cannot go to that person and ask to give back my shares. So that is the thing. Investment company also same, because investment company are those company whose main object is to invest. They will invest on behalf of any securities. Maybe my shares is with that investment company and they have given me money. In such cases, I cannot directly, indirectly purchase shares through investment company also, and also subsidiary company is a thing where I cannot. And lastly, if the company is in default in payment of dividend or interest, like failure is there, I have not given dividend to shareholders, I have not paid interest, in such cases I am not eligible to buy back until and unless I comply those fully, until and unless I pay those things fully as per law. First I should be clean, first there should not be any default. Okay, so there should not be any default. So first of all I should pay all this dividend, interest and everything, then I can do buyback. Okay, so this is all about buyback as per section 68 of Companies Act 2013. Hope you like my video. So if you are having any query, any question, any request, please go to my comment section and you can write there. Obviously I will come back with those things. And so please don't forget to like, subscribe and share. Please, if you feel you will benefit from my video, don't forget to share with your friends, and This is all. Thank you. Bye for today. See you soon.